Monday at 4 p.m. with a repeat on Tuesday at 11 a.m. on LUX FM 106.5.
Tune in and keep abreast with happenings within the walls of the nation's premier university. That's UL President Hour on LUX FM 106.5 every Monday at 4 p.m. Don't miss out. UL President Hour on LUX FM 106.5 every Monday at 4 p.m. Don't miss out. Students, staff, and well-wishers of the University of Liberia are invited to join LUX FM 106.5 every Monday at 4 p.m. for the program UL President Hour.
UL President Hour is an hour-long dialogue with the President of the University of Liberia.
UL President Hour is your chance to talk directly with the President of the University of Liberia and seek answers or redress to problems you may have.
UL President Hour comes your way every Monday at 4 p.m. with a repeat on Tuesday at 11 a.m. on LUX FM 106.5.
Tune in and keep abreast with happenings within the walls of the nation's premier university. That's UL President Hour on LUX FM 106.5 every Monday at 4 p.m. Don't.
Let me say good afternoon to everybody. Welcome. Welcome to your President on LUX FM 106.5, University of Liberia Radio. We broadcast from our Fenner campus in the township of Louisiana in Montserrat County, Liberia. My name is Alfonso. Welcoming you to the program this Monday, right here. The president of the University of Liberia, Professor Dr. Lady Bapaya, is in studio to address all of the concerns. Of course, she's come also with the debate team. And just going to be introducing them, but we're taking a very short break. When we'll come back, the president will talk to you.
UL President Hour.
UL President Hour is an hour-long dialogue with the President of the University of Liberia.
UL President Hour is your chance to talk directly with the President of the University of Liberia and seek answers or redress to problems you may have.
UL President Hour comes your way every Monday at 4 p.m. with a repeat on Tuesday at 11 a.m. on LUX FM 106.5.
Tune in and keep abreast with happenings within the walls of the nation's premier university. That's UL President Hour on LUX FM 106.5 every Monday at 4 p.m. Don't miss out.
Okay, so welcome to the program on your university radio again. Let me say to you, the president of the University of Liberia, Professor Dr. Lady Mafanya, is right here in studio. She'll be responding to all of the concerns. Of course, she's here for the next 1 hour to talk about all that concerns the university. Let me say welcome, Madam President.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
Okay, how are you today?
I'm good. I feel great. I just say blessed as always.
Okay. So we're here, and I see you with some of our students. Am I right?
You are absolutely right. I
Okay.
brought the UL Debate Society with me today.
Hmm. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about their presence. Why they here?
Well, I'll be honest. I'd like to begin every show with something positive. And one of the most positive student activities that I've followed throughout the year is the movement of the UL Debate Society from tournament to tournament. They've had some really cool wins at their tournaments. I wanted to bring them in to talk about what they do, to talk about the recent awards that they've won, the prizes, and also to give them a chance to reach out to new and returning students at the university who might be interested in joining the debate society. So I have with me here Jamal, who is the team captain, and Yasa, who's a team member. So what can you tell us about your fabulous recent wins and just people who may not even know what the debate society is about?
Okay, so thank you again so much for having us on the show, Madam President. It's always a wonderful thing to have beautiful conversations with you. So the debate society that we have today is one that has been involved with a lot of tournaments of this year, and fortunately for us, we have been successful in almost all of the tournaments. For the records, I think it was only the international tournament we went for at um, Kumasi in Ghana that we could not bring back the trophy but stopped in the semifinals. So it has been a wonderful thing, I would say, especially with the level of support that you and the administration has been giving the team. Is one that keeps us like pushing to be our best every time. So the tournaments we go for, let me start with the format of debate. So a lot of people in Liberia is actually new to this type of debate format. It's not like the most famous car pop-up format where we have four speakers per team and just two houses defending a motion. It's more like you have eight speakers, four teams playing one motion. So what that means is on the government team, you have two sides. You have the opening half of the government bench and you have a closing half of the government bench, likewise the opposition team. So this format is called the British Parliamentary Debate. It also implies that you and I, for example, Dr. Mapine is playing the opening half of the government bench and I'm playing the closing half. Even though we're playing the same side, but we are not friends. I mean, I'm playing to win you, and you're also playing to win me. Despite we're defending the same side. The idea is to enhance critical thinking, how well people are able to look at situation from different perspective. So it's highly possible that okay, a good pragmatist, right? If Dr. Mapine believes that this thing is white because of the originality and the belief that people say the color white is white, that is her perspective towards why the color white is white. I could be from the closing half. I could argue that oh, the reason this is white is a scientific background. I mean, so as Newton says, there are seven colors that were compressed through the prism that resulted into white. So that diversity in perspective is one that makes the format of debate that we currently practice one that is much more competitive. But the most
Okay.
interesting thing about it is the fact that you have to think on your feet. So this is why it is unique. It is not like the other formats where you get to have the preparation home and then come. You are preparing right on the stage. So 50 minutes to the debate, they announce the motion, and you have to prep without internet. What it means is that you have to be an average speaker, you have to be an average researcher to be able to cope with this debate. And with the level of growth and improvement I've seen from our team this year, I think we are ready, not just nationally. In fact, I'm not bragging, but UL has dominated all of the debate tournaments this year in our country nationally. And internationally, we have places like Europe back on the map to be noted for intellectualism as it was
That's
before.
great. And that's one of the reasons I'm really proud of you guys, because I know you really are putting UL on the map. And you really are also introducing other students to debate as, we'll call it a sport, a competitive
Yes.
sport. So I'd like to ask Yasa, how long have you been part of the Debate Society?
About 3 months ago.
Just starting.
Yeah.
So you're brand new. Did you do it in high school?
No, I didn't do it.
All right. So for those students out there who are wondering how they might become a part of the debate society, what can you tell them?
It's a great opportunity to be part of the debate, and most especially LUX Debate Society.
Mm-hmm.
So when I joined the society, I was a novice. I didn't know anything about it. But through the mentorship of my able captain, I'm able now to say, oh yes, I can do this and I can do that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm very glad. And I will encourage every student in the University of Liberia to take this opportunity and take advantage of it.
All right. Well, I hope the students will be on the lookout, because one of the things I'm planning is for you guys to do a demonstration debate at some point so that other students can have an opportunity to see what it's really about. One of the reasons I love debate, and I was a debater back in high school, is because it teaches thinking on your feet. Like you said, it helps make you a better researcher. It helps strengthen your public speaking skills. And no matter what career you're going into, it will benefit you. So thanks for coming into the studio. I really appreciate you being here, and we'll keep everybody apprised when the demonstration debate is going to take place. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, Madam President. It's always a pleasure having a conversation.
Thank you too. All right.
The wonderful one. The president is there interacting with our students. Of course, they are from the debate. They call it debate society. And the University of Liberia, being a mother university in this country, will always do things. But again, let me say from my end, thank you so very kindly, and I hope you guys will keep pushing and pushing. Thank you. So it's now me and the president, right? So, okay, let's talk about the resumption of academic activities. Second semester, is that it? Or
Well,
first semester?
I leave that to the Vice President for Academic Affairs to define. I have learned that I am not the expert on which semester it is. What I am is the expert on making sure that we have academic semesters running throughout the year. As you know, that's been one of my most important goals. Students really suffered through the lack of semesters and opportunities to accumulate credit hours last year. So this year I came committed to making sure that people were able to move at a good pace towards graduation. And that's meant having 2 full semesters, one of which occurred from January to June, the other of which is starting now with a vacation term in the middle. So all I have to say is I'm thankful that students have been taking classes and that we have a group that will graduate with the upcoming graduation early January. And then we'll have another set who will get the opportunity to graduate in May because of our continuously operating academic calendar.
Okay, and then we're going to go to the new date for reopening. But you want to share with us just briefly some of the takeaways from last semester?
Some of the takeaways for me as president were how much students want to be in the classroom. The majority of students want to go to class, want to learn, want to prepare themselves for their careers. They don't want the stoppages. They don't want the disruptions. They don't want all the noise. They just want to go in the classroom and learn. And so that takeaway has made me really, really dedicated to it. But at the same time, I understand that the faculty have their concerns as well. The faculty have had a lot of ups and downs with things about some of their payments and the working conditions not being conducive. Students as well have had their concerns, and those are all very legitimate. But at the same time, our mission is to educate. And so we need to be doing that, every working hour of the day. And so we're always trying to find those compromises that will enable us to continue and be on mission while at the same time continually improving the university.
Wonderful. With that said, we can now talk about the new date set for the resumption of classes.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I want to just walk people through the history of where we are with this opening date. Because when we approved the new academic calendar back in February, we anticipated that our first day of classes would be the day after Flag Day, which is in late August. And so our original intent was to start on the 26th of August. But because we had a late entrance and because of some resource deficits that slowed down the process of grading the exams for both grad and undergrad students, as well as our visually impaired students, we had to delay the opening a bit because we needed the extra time to finish getting everyone graded. And then the new students who had passed entrance, we had to take time to admit them. So we delayed it first by 1 week and then by another week. But then, of course, we were facing some concerns from the faculty, things that they were hoping that we could rectify before we finalized the opening date. So we're still in that negotiation and rectification process. We, knock on wood, will start next week, Monday, with classes. But this week, new students should be expecting to go to new student orientation. And that is for both new freshmen as well as people who are coming from other institutions in various class years and transfer students.
Great, wonderful. Is the university still issuing admissions later?
My understanding is that yes, because the graduate student admissions were just the last to be graded, and they were just completed and approved last week. So we are still issuing some of those letters. And with the undergrad students, we've admitted some whose documents we've been able to get, because as people know, entrance is not the only criterion for being admitted. You have to submit your WIAC scores, your high school diplomas, and students vary the speed at which they submit those things. So those who submitted them early and soon have already been admitted, but those who have not yet done so have not yet been admitted. And at this point, we'll have to wait until the January term begins before they can start.
Okay, so on the issue of admissions later, I sent you, an information, and that was one of the concerns raised from the last edition of this program, that students were receiving admissions later, but sessions were filled. So at the end of the semester, they had issues with grades.
Yes, that's actually a few different issues you're mentioning. One is that there are still some grades we're waiting for from the first semester. You'll recall that we had the problem with the add and drop button during the first semester. And I asked people not to use the e-portal to register because of the amount of fraud that was going on, of people going in and taking people out of classes and things of that nature. So I asked the teachers to write down the list of students and then to submit the grades. But some of the faculty haven't completed that. And one of the issues we have with the e-portal is that you can't both submit grades and register at the same time. So when we reach certain deadlines, we have to shut down the grade submission in order to open up the registration. So we're balancing that, in an ideal world, we will be able to do both things at the same time, but we can't because of how the system currently is set up. So I realize this is a messy year, and truly, I apologize to students for how hard it's been. Because once we get everything fixed, we're on our new academic calendar and we begin the process of improving our digital assets, then we won't have these problems. But right now we do. And I want to ask the faculty and the students, let's all work together so that students have their grades and can register for the appropriate sections in the follow-on classes so that they can prove that they have their prerequisites, et cetera. And then from there, the second issue that you raised was the issue of some sections being closed. This is true at any university. Classes fill up and people have to take different classes than what they originally planned. And sometimes when people need classes that they can't get at that time, they have to take them in a different semester. That is normal in university life. However, we do need to make sure that the number of sections that we open up every semester is a good match for the number of students that we have. Right now, we're heavy on advanced students, and we're trying to make room for our new students to come in. And we want to make sure that our advanced students have the classes they need to graduate and move on, and that our new incoming students have the classes they need to get started. So I'm always in conversation with the Vice President for Academic Affairs, who has her finger on the pulse of what the departments are offering and what sections are needed. We can make adjustments under certain circumstances. And because we're just getting off the ground right now, we're still looking at it. So if there are students, particularly new incoming students who haven't been able to find classes that they need, they should bring that to the attention of myself and the Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Okay, that's wonderful. We're going to be crisscrossing the issues.
Okay.
Last week was a very busy week for you with visitation to different institutions. Let's start with the Ministry of Finance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you had a meeting with them.
We did. I was so thankful to Minister Gaffon for inviting our team from the University of Liberia, which included me as well as the Vice President for Academic Affairs, the Vice President for Administration, and the Interim Vice President for Finance and Fiscal Affairs to come together and meet with their team on a Saturday where we were really to have a free-flowing and candid discussion where we were really able to look at the big picture of UL's budget finances and needs, and to really talk together about what the government is in a position to do and how they understand how to grow the university. And I think it was very fruitful, very productive, and we came out of it with a very supportive message from the Ministry of Finance. And so it was an excellent meeting, a type of meeting we decided that we need to repeat in the future so that the university and the Ministry of Finance are always in close collaboration.
So it's an indication that the willingness there to work with the university, and so in that there was some form of light at the end of the tunnel.
Certainly. And, I think one of the things that we really have going is that so many people who work in the various ministries, in fact, all over government, all over Liberia, are alumni of the University of Liberia. So there's tremendous goodwill for the university, as well as deep understanding about what the issues are and, what we can do to solve them. So I'm really thankful for the excellent discussion that we had.
Okay. So let's talk about the presentation at the Senate last week. You want to drill?
Sure. That was my first time presenting in front of any legislative body in Liberia. So for me, it was a learning experience, but also one that I thoroughly enjoyed because it was nice to have an opportunity to engage with different legislators about the university. And I was also very happy to be seated with the Minister of Education, as well as the acting superintendent of the Monrovia City School System. So it was actually kind of in a way like a powerhouse meeting of the whole educational sector of Liberia. And it was a very interesting and exciting experience. I think there was some debate in that meeting about what the university needs in this transitional year, which has kind of some unusual expenses and unusual conditions. But, it was a robust discussion. We got to hear from different sides. I think everyone had consensus that the university did need some extra support right now. So it was nice to see, different political actors coming together on that message. And, again, I feel really good about where we're headed.
All right. So a week ago, there was this, paper, I call it paper, on social media with some names of so-called workers who are being listed for workers who are being listed for some forceful or forced retirement. You want to speak to that issue because it went viral?
Yes, whoever released those documents did so in an illicit way. They were not authorized by me. And in fact, I had not seen those documents until they appeared in social media. Of course, I have data on all of our employees at the University of Liberia, whether it's payroll, whether it's, where people are relative to their employment status, et cetera. But whoever put that stuff out there, I think, was just trying to create panic and unrest amongst our employees and the wider society. And they'll have to be accountable for that action, because it caused a real problem for the people whose names and whose salaries and whose ages and other personal data were exposed to the public without their permission.
Okay, so I'm just going to announce in the mass we continue our discussion. You can call in case you want to be part of the discussion tonight. You can call us on 0777 277 288 0777 277-288. The president of the University of Liberia, Professor Dr. Lily Mapaya, is in studio to address whatever concern you have regarding the running of the University of Liberia. We'll go to the line to take our very first call. Hello. Good to have you on. What's your name and where you call from? Okay, what's your concern? So, you got the power you're talking. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. 0777 277 288 0777 277 288 is a number to call. Let's go back to the line. Hello. How are you? Welcome, Mr. Duo. Mhm. You came in cracking. We didn't get you wrote the entrance, and what happened? Hmm. Yeah. Okay, don't worry. The president will speak to that. Thank you. Thank you very much. 0777 277 288 0777 277 288. Hello. How are you? Yes, name and calling from where? Hello? I'm getting you. Go ahead. Okay, thank you. So we're going to take a few more calls, and then the president will respond to all of the concerns here. 0777 277 288. Hello? Yeah? Sorry, we didn't get your name. Welcome, Madison. Thank you. We can take two more, and then the president will address them all together. Hello? Yeah? Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. 2 more, then we will cross over to the president to speak to them. Let's take this call. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Yeah? William, where are you calling from? Where you hello? Where you headed from? All right. Thank you. Thank you. We have to take somebody else. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your request. Let me take the last one and then cross over to the president to address all of these concerns, and then we'll do another round and come back and take some more call. Hello? I'm good. What's your name and where you come from? Welcome, Mr. Zimbi. Thank you, Madam President. You can address those concerns, and then we'll come back to talk about some other things.
Okay, sure. And Alfonso, I'm going to rely on you to remind me of all the topics. Sure. But that was a lot of topics, so I'm not going to remember all of those.
Okay. I would do.
Okay, so let me just start with the issue of our relationship with government and government funding. I said when I first arrived here that every school needs diverse revenue sources, and the University of Liberia has relied primarily on government revenue, which is limited because the revenue of the entire nation is what it is. You know, I often think about the fact that the budget for all of Liberia is around $800 million, and that even one university in the United States, Harvard, has more money than the entire country of Liberia. So when you think about that in proportion to what a university of 28,000 plus students and 2,200 plus employees needs, and you look at $33 million or $34 million a year, which is what we're getting from government, we know that we need more than that. And it's not their fault. It is just that it is a resource strained situation. So my job as president is to go find other money. Now, people may say, why haven't I gone and found money? I've been here 8 months. Well, I got a little bit. But what funders want is they want a great plan of what you're going to do. They don't like to just throw money at an institution. They like to say, I want to invest in this part of your plan. So a big part of this year has been about figuring out what does that plan need to be and how do I set it up in a way that will interest donors and enable us to add to what the government is consistently giving us to enhance what they're doing. Part of what we need to do is clean up internally so that we're as efficient as we can be with the resources that we get. But the other thing we need to do is start garnering more resources. So I'll start there because I don't like when people throw the government under the bus for our money. And I don't like it when people say, why aren't you solving all the problems right now? Because the reality is we can't solve all the problems right now. But what we can do is figure out what it takes to solve them and then get the conditions in place that will allow us to track the resources to do it. Meantime, we're managing and we're doing things that we need to solve the most urgent problems. So let me turn now to one of those very urgent problems, which is the issue of the bathrooms. All right, I'm pleased to say that we are working with a number of partners right now to get the bathroom renovation going. We've had conversations with, everybody knows already, Ministry of Public Works, but also we're starting to have conversations with other people in government. And our own administration department is working with the procurement end of getting the supplies we need to fix the bathrooms, et cetera. I've been talking with the Board of Trustees and outside firms about building some new bathrooms on the Fendel campus. And the plan is that we'll be breaking ground on all of this within the next month or two. So, it's been a slow road because the bathroom problems are complex. Everybody knows that they've heard me say it's all the way back from the electricity and the boreholes through the pipes and the walls into those toilets and sinks and everything else. We're all struggling and that struggle is real and it's completely understandable that people are at wit's end about it. So I just say watch for some developments in the next couple of months around that. I know there's similar issues. People have made a lot of input about transportation and buses, et cetera. So we're working as hard as we can to get some of those things back online. But the bottom line right now is that we are, in a situation. What is it? What is that phrase? I'm trying to you dig hole to cover hole, dig hole. I can't remember what it is, but whatever it is, you take it from here to put it over there. That's what we have to do. It's not a bad thing. It's just where we're at. But we're going to move to a place where we don't have to do that anymore. So that's how I'll answer that question. But please help me remember some of the other topics.
Yes, sure.
That's a big one?
Yeah.
All right. So this is where I wish I had my vice president for academic affairs sitting right next to me because she's the mastermind of our course scheduling universe. I don't exactly know the answer to how many sections we have that are full, how many we need to open, the first semester, second semester issue, how many people are actually trying to graduate right now. All I know is I'm trying to make sure that we're always in motion. And in terms of, people starting class, like I said, hopefully it'll be next week. And then those people who are able to graduate will be able to graduate and we'll get there. So if there's specific concerns, we need to channel them to the VPAA's office and see what we can do. But at this point, we're so close to opening that we probably will have to go with what we have for this semester.
Somebody talked about graduate school interests.
Yes, that one was the most recent. The faculty senate and just approved it within the last few days. So I expect everyone in the graduate school to be hearing from their respective programs very soon.
All right. And somebody also raised something about ID cards.
About student ID cards. Okay, we still don't have the equipment to make the ID cards. I would say, if I'm being realistic, that we won't probably have ID cards this semester, but by January, yes. And while I'm throwing in that matter of the ID cards, I want to mention that we are in the process of revising and updating the student handbook right now. We had a long student handbook going back to, I think, 2017 or so, and I just put a committee together over the last few months to do a complete overhaul of the student handbook, because ID cards and student handbook kind of go hand in hand. When you're a new student, that's one of the first things that you're looking for. We also need employee ID cards, and not just. So I need the extra time, given our financial challenge right now, to procure the equipment to make the IDs, get all the supplies, and then be ready for January. I think that's what we're looking at.
And somebody also talked about admissions letter, not admission, but rather readmission letters coming slowly.
Yeah, I think all of the letters, whether admission or readmission, have been coming slowly because of the delay we had with entrance and the reorganization of the Office of Enrollment Services. So between those two factors, it's been slower than usual this time, or I won't say slower, but later than usual. So those things will still come, but they just might come a little later than they would have before.
Okay, so let me take you back to last week. You also had a meeting, planned with NASCAR. You want to share with us?
Yes, sure. That was a very important meeting because I needed to get the background on the situation we find ourselves in today, which is that UL employees have not been able to turn to NASCORP for their pensions because of some arrears that occurred between UL and Ministry of Finance and NASCORP. And so what I wanted to do was get a figure and learn about the ways to start fixing it. And so what NASCORP said is your arrears are in fact quite large, but at the same time, it's legally mandated that you should pay monthly. And once you start paying again and we regain a sense of trust, then we'll have the ability to start allowing some of your employees to go on pension. So in the meantime, UL pays the salaries of its retired employees at the pension rate. So it's not that people can't retire. The question is just, what is the source going to be? Is the source going to be UL's budget, our own payroll, or is the source going to be NASCORP? Obviously, we want to gradually migrate fully to NASCORP, but in the meantime, UL takes on that responsibility.
Okay, sorry, I want to do this. I want to go back to the listing. You already spoken to that listing, but there was a section of that listing that concerned me because it had to do with your own character. On the listing of last week, the one we talked about earlier, there was also a part of that listing that talked about, a tip or say plan to hire, and they involved your office. In that they said people you brought from UC to be hired here. Has that caused any kind of embarrassment for you?
Well, the numbers that they gave were wrong. I did hire a few people from USAID to come on to the university. We had a grant with USAID that I was on before I came here. It was a 5-year grant that got cut off in year 3 when USAID withdrew in January. And the center that we had as part of that grant, which was called the Forestry, Biodiversity, and Conservation Center, was located on UL's campus and was a collaboration between UL, the Forestry Training Institute in Tubmanburg, and this USAID project, as well as several other institutions in the United States. And so since that project was already located on the UL campus, and it was led by a very eminent scientist, Dr. B.K. Robertson, I brought Dr. B.K. Robertson on as an addition to the faculty. He has a PhD from Cornell University, and he was a full professor at Alabama State University in the United States. He was also a department chair. His CV shows pages and pages of scientific peer-reviewed publications, and his grantsmanship was also high. He had gotten many, many grants. So he was the type of faculty member that we need at UL. And so I felt very comfortable adding him to our faculty, not only as a full professor in environmental science, but also continuing as the director of the Forestry, Biodiversity, and Conservation Center. That center, part of its charge is to get external grants to support forestry, biodiversity, and conservation work. And I'm glad to say that that center has already gotten 2 grants in the time since they've been here. So they're highly productive. I don't have any negative feeling about having brought those people on. There was a team there. There were that director and then about 3 or 4 other people who were part of that project that I brought on because they all add something very substantive to the university. Now, I don't know about all the other people that were on that list because most of them were not from USAID. And while I have brought on some hires, as most presidents do, and I will continue to do as needed, there were some names on there that I didn't recognize. So I'm not really sure where all of them came from, but they did not all come from USAID. There was a handful of very particular people that I brought on from USAID.
Thank you for clarity. We're going to take one more Very important concern, and then we'll go back to the line and come back to wrap up. During the presentation of OSA, petition to you, one of the issues that came up was this thing about insurance. And now, I think a week or two ago, and there is information all over the place that most of these hospitals are now, are no longer accepting UL insurance.
That was true for a period of time because we owed money to Activa, but we have made 3 payments of them in the last few months, including some on Friday, and they agreed to put everybody back on active status with the different medical facilities. So that's something that's very recent. The word may not have spread yet that we made those payments. People should be able to go back to their hospitals, and if they have any problem, let us know, because the Activa agreed to reactivate all of that.
Madam, sorry, let me ask this. I don't know whether you know the terms of agreement between the University of Liberia and the insurance company, but most of these hospitals you go to, you have to pay extra money, and that has been, the cry of most of them. In fact, I personally have an experience. I had to pay 85 United States dollars to do tests outside of insurance. The insurance will tell you, we pay this and you pay this.
I heard a presentation from Activa to learn some of the things about how the policy works, but I don't know all of the details. Some insurance companies have a copay, which requires patients or people who are on that insurance to pay a small portion of the medical expense from their own pocket, and the balance is paid by insurance. I don't know whether that is what is in this policy or not, but it is a normal thing within insurance to have to do that. However, I realize it's also very inconvenient to employees, and I've heard other employees talk about getting their full bill paid. So I would need to go into the details of the policy. I will say this, that most institutions, when they make decisions about the insurance that they will carry, from time to time, they reevaluate it. They make sure it's working for the employees. It's both a business decision and a well-being decision. So we want to make sure that all of our employees are well taken care of, and that we have insurance that's affordable to the university. And so, we will certainly keep an open mind about making sure that our employees have the care that they need.
All right, so we can take some more calls. So call us on 0777-277-288, 0777-277-288. Let's go back to the line. This caller. Hello. Yeah. Welcome, Pricks. Sorry, there's a call coming in, so you've been interrupted. You want to know what are there's this trimester here? Hello? Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, anyway, you speak to it, but it is started already, Bo. All right, thank you. 0777-277-288, 0777-277-288. Hello? Yeah? Hello? Yeah, the ID card. Yeah, but you low, man. Hello? We can hardly get you. Hello? Hello? 0777-277-288, 0777-277-288. I think he's talking about the ARICA issue. If that is your concern, the president said his show by January you'll get. Yeah. Go ahead, Sano. What is not possible? Oh, man, I thought you still know. You want to go sorry? Oh, the number person, the employee. All right. Okay. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Hello. 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 Call us on 07777 or 0770351 or 0886-373-063. Hello? Hello? Yeah? How are you? Yeah, Prince, just make it snappy, please. Thank you. 0777277 or 770-351-357. It's another number you can call, or better still call 0886-373-063. Hello? Yeah? How are you? Mm-hmm. Welcome. Welcome. Go ahead. Oh, that was who's that on? Oh, the finance minister to the permanent housing? What is that? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. The president will let me go. Uh-huh. Hello? I see what you're saying. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have another call? Hello? Yeah? Yeah, Rosalind, welcome. Our first female caller. Okay. Thank you, Rosalind. 0777277 Hello? Yeah? Hello. The traffic jam. You got to drive quickly, or else you. Yeah, go ahead. I'm okay. Say your issue. Let's move on. Mhm. Okay, quickly, yeah. All right. Thank you. All right.
Because grassroots is president. Your president on LUX FM 106.5, University of Liberia, we broadcast from our campus in the township of Louisiana in Montserrat County.
0777 277 288. Yes. 0777 277 288 or 770 351 357, and be a part of the show this hour. Hello.
Yep.
Yeah. You're welcome. Go ahead. Thank you very much. We can take two more and go over to the president to address them. The number remains 0777 277 288. Okay, we have another caller on the other side. Hello. So yeah, you security man. You security man. Then you want to supposed to say anything you security man. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, all right. The president will address that one. Yeah, please. Thank you. Hello. 0777 277 288 0777 277 288 is a number to call and be a part of it. Can take this last call for now. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Welcome, Mr. Pierre. All right. Thank you, Madam President.
Sure. I certainly understand people's concern, and I just spoke with VP Kana, Vice President of Student Affairs, yesterday, and he said he was going to post the new student orientation schedule. So I'm expecting that any moment. Keep your eyes on our Facebook page. In terms of some of the other questions, again, Alfonso, you're going to have to help me with the topics, but I'll start with the trimester question.
Yeah.
When the faculty was presented with a new proposal for a year filled with opportunities to accumulate credit, we presented a trimester proposal, which included 2 long semesters and 1 short semester. Both had the same amount of credit hours, and contact hours, but 1 was short, 2 were long. That was approved. One of the ways that trimester calendar differed from calendars of the past is that in the past, there were 2 academic semesters and a vacation school. In the past, the 2 academic semesters, the regular ones, and the vacation school had different fees for the credit hours, and the vacation school was intended to be self-supporting. So when we put it in there this time, we didn't have any particular financial discussion about it, but people have been asking us whether we're going to go back to having a self-supporting vacation school, and we might. It depends on what our budget looks like, because if our budget enables us to make it free, we will. If we can't make it free, we can't make it free. But at the very least, we will have 3 terms a year when people can accumulate credits and move towards graduation. And having those terms, those trimesters or semesters operating continuously is one of the biggest keys to the University of Liberia being successful. So I just hope that some of the teachers, the instructors, the faculty are listening, particularly with regard to the issues about the past grades. I heard one person ask about the grades from the first semester that they still hadn't received. I've had other students mention to me about vacation school. Notwithstanding the issue with the portal not being able to do both things at once, I want to encourage our faculty who may be listening that if you have students whose grades weren't yet posted, that you reach out to me or the VPAA so that we can make sure that students get these grades and they can move on. Because people who don't have the grades to prove that they've done the prerequisites can't go to the next course, and that impedes them from graduation. So I just know this has to be a partnership between students, faculty, and staff. And actually, it has to also be a partnership with the Office of Information Technology, because they have to make some of these control mechanisms on our system stronger so that people can't go in and change things. That's really, really important. So Alfonso, please remind me some of the other topics.
Yes, ID card people. I don't know how else you can address this, but ID card pay for not receive.
The way I'm going to describe it is like this. When we have money, we have priorities, and things fall in a priority order. So for example, if I have to choose between buying stationery for the semester to run and buying ID cards, I'm going to choose stationery. If I have to choose between paying the faculty and paying for the ID cards, I'm going to choose paying the faculty. If I can get the faculty, the stationery, the other high-level things done, then we get the ID cards. But the thing is, for the 2026 budget that we are proposing, we are including more dedicated money for those kind of things like ID cards. So if we can't get it done this semester, I mean, I'll still try, but I'm not going to promise it to you because I don't know that I can accomplish it with what we have on hand. But nevertheless, people have to understand, and I know you understand, even though it's an uncomfortable fact that we all hate on some levels, that when you're in a resource constrained environment, you have to prioritize the money you have, and you just have to get the things done. You know, sometimes we have to prioritize electricity over those other things. Sometimes we're choosing between electricity and stationery. Once you're in that kind of a situation, the choices are never going to satisfy everyone. I know that's not an answer that makes people happy, but I have committed to being a president who is transparent about information. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm not trying to present to you things that are unrealistic. I'm telling you the real deal. So, you know, as we move together towards a different reality, we will get there. But right now, I'm just being honest with you about the way things are. I know that people complain that they've submitted certain fees and they didn't get the thing that the fees were used for. I agree. That's a problem. Is not okay. I've talked with the BFO about us doing more escrowing and more other kind of practices that will enable us to make sure those things all go where they should go. But you know what happens when you need more than the money you have. You move it around to make it what needs to happen. I mean, that is just the truth of how it's been happening here. So we need to move away from that reality. We need to diversify our revenue, and we need to make sure that we plan carefully for all the things we need to do and get them done across the course of a year. So watch how things go in 2026.
workers transfer from BFO to HR for reassignment? That's
Yes,
to your knowledge?
yes, it is to my knowledge. And, vice presidents have a discretion to manage their offices in the way that they think is most efficient and effective. They have the discretion to assess what functions need to get done, how many people they need to do them, whose job may be redundant, who's performing well, who's not performing well. That is at the discretion of vice presidents in every single vice presidency. So if a particular vice president makes a decision that particular individuals need to be relocated, then that is at their discretion.
Okay, so another concern here: the students at the dormitory stay in darkness. We know what I don't know. I think you addressed that issue, but still, I mean, it keeps coming.
Yes, it's a grave concern. I know that we've been rationing power around the university over various points in time because we never have enough, whether it's because LEC itself isn't able to provide enough or because we ourselves are financially constrained. The entire time that I've been here, we've had power issues. As a matter of fact, you're going to see when my strategic plan does ultimately come out after the Board of Trustees has had a chance to engage it, you're going to see solving the electricity problem as the number one strategic priority. And the reason for that is because it is the foundation of all other good things happening at the university. Not only the basic things like water and sanitation and having the lights on, but it's also the basis of us having campus-wide internet. It's the basis of access to learning materials. It's the foundation of labs functioning. It's the foundation of people, being able to do their schoolwork. So electricity is huge here. It's huge. It's really our number one issue that we need to solve. And I am planning for us over time to turn to renewable energy to solve our energy crisis. But that's something that we have to mobilize. But trust me, I understand the gravity. And in the short term, let me talk with administration and make it better. But it's until we get a strong source of electricity, we're going to have some issues in that area. Right now, we're running on a combination of LEC and generators. We don't have enough generators to run the whole thing, so we move them around. So I agree, it's a problem that you don't have those things, and I agree with the concern that you're raising.
Someone said you receive information that you will receive $500,000 to reopen the school. Do you have that information?
No, I've been in meetings all day, so if that's true, I'll be very happy. I haven't heard it yet for sure, but I'll be very excited that maybe when I finish the show, I will get that news. It will be a great time for celebration.
Yes, great issue. Low manpower according to DACA.
Yes, the issue with the campus security. Again, campus security is near and dear to my heart, and I feel very, very perturbed that campus security doesn't have the equipment and materials they need to do their job with full strength. They've been very valiant doing what they can with what they have, but at the same time, the level of issues that we face, the hugeness of our campus, the way it's accessible to all kinds of people, and the various things we've dealt with, they need greater capacitization. And that's another thing you're going to see me highlight in my strategic plan, is making sure that the campus security has the equipment and the other logistics that they need to keep our campuses secure, safe, and protected.
All right, so I think we are going to call you. But just before we go, there's this initiative by you, something you call OPED. What is it?
Opinion editorial. Yeah, I decided that I needed to be in the media more myself, saying what I wanted to say. So I asked, I started a new column that's going to come out every Monday. The first one came out last week. The topic was back to school. The second one came out today, and the topic is what it takes to become a top 300 university, because many people, or at least people that are, tuned into the national development goals, know that one of the biggest goals for the higher ed sector is for a Liberian university to become one of the top 300 universities in Africa. So I wrote an op-ed today about what will it actually take to do that. The fact of the matter is that these international rating systems have criteria, and you can know what the criteria are, and you can, fix yourself so that you're strong in those criteria. So I wrote a whole op-ed that I hope people will read, so they will understand what we need to do to gain that status. We deserve it, but we have to do the work.
So for the sake of our audience, you can just highlight some of the things that you think we need to do in order to get there?
Sure. Most of the ranking systems have a set of 4 or 5 different criteria that they go on when they're rating an institution. One of them has to do with the quality of the faculty. They look at things like publications or research dollars or how much faculty are paid relative to their peers at peer institutions, whether faculty are winning prizes or things of that nature. Then there's the student success variables. Those have to do with what are student test scores coming in, or how long is it taking students to graduate? How many people are graduating within 4 to 6 years? They look at things like the faculty-student ratio, how many students are in a classroom per teacher. And then there are variables that have to do with campus reputation, just like, your buildings, your financial strength, what kind of partners you have, if you're able to attract international attention, et cetera. And then there are also some factors that are just related to the physical plant itself, such as, what condition are your buildings in? Are they tech enabled? Do you have a beautiful campus, et cetera? And then there's some that look at well-being factors, like how well we deal with the well-being of our employees and our students. So, if they go to the article, you'll get far more detail. But the bottom line is that we need to look at these criteria and we need to understand what we need to improve at the university to get there.
Some technical stuff is, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm getting some feedback. Moses. It's a complete play, but I don't know what's happening. Moses, you can just, oh my God.
All right, so I think we're just going to go live on the radio. We have to, someone somehow, do I work with this internet thing? So Moses, we can just go directly, radio, because of our audience. It's still coming. Sorry for this. All right. Sorry, Madam President. But yes, so you were in fact technical issue.
Yeah, I thought it was just me for a minute there. So basically, I was just saying that, there are a set of established and well-known criteria by which institutions of higher education are judged in the ranking systems. So if we truly want to become a top 300 in Africa university by 2029, which is the national development goal, we need to look at the criteria together and work on them together.
All right, we have to go ahead. We'll start with this one. Anything you want to say?
I just want to say that I'm very thankful to everyone for tuning in. I want to offer a special welcome to our new students, including freshmen, transfers, and others who are coming in this week and next. And I just want to continue to convey to the entire UL family how much I love you and how thankful I am to be here, and how I wake up every day excited to do this job. Even with all the challenges, there's no place I'd rather be. So thank you.
Thank you. The president of the University of Liberia. Also here, she has two of our students here who came from the debate team and taking the UL to another level, especially debating across Liberia. The guys say, look, you're ready to take it to the international level. That's very wonderful to hear. Let me say thank you to you guys, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you too.
All right, so that's it. My name is Alfonso George, and we're back here next Monday at 4 minutes past. That's 5 minutes past 4. Until Monday, please, a wonderful day.
Students, staff, and well-wishers of the University of Liberia are invited to join LUX